You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lain. Gardening it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. I thought I would give you, as we go into the holidays, the history of the holiday plants. Where did the poinsettia tradition, hollies, ivy, mistletoe, Christmas trees, where did they all, Christmas cactus, where did all this come from? So there's a certain set of plants that we use to kind of mark the celebration. And the most famous of all, it's got to be poinsettias. That's not that new a plant, but it's not that old either. Holly's way older. But poinsettias were found by the very first ambassador from the US to Mexico back in the 1800s, Dr. Joel Roberts Poinsett. He's our ambassador. Saw this. He's also a botanist from South Carolina. He goes down to Mexico representing America, and he finds this plant, a poinsettia. It's in tree form down there. They get huge because they don't die back. It's a tropical plant. So he's down towards Mexico City, further south, and just finds this thing. He starts propagating it at his farm in South Carolina, and he starts giving them as gifts to friends and family. Then he started donating some to public and private botanical gardens because people saw that and went, "Oh, that's beautiful." So it just gained this interest. And then Christmas got a hold of it and went, wow, because they generally go into color about that time. And so the Christian faith kind of turned it into like the Star of Bethlehem. It's got this famous star pattern, red colors, like a beautiful reminder of Christ's shed blood, and the white represents his purity. There's a lot of symbolism involved with poinsettias at the holidays. But Dr. Joel Robert Poinsett, thank you for introducing that plant. Of course, now we have way more than red. We've got whites and pinks. And guys, anytime you see blue, though, that's not real. That's either Instagram changed, AI changed, or they literally will spray paint them with paint. Literally, they're painted blue. They'll take a white poinsettia, spray it blue, and boom, there you go, blue poinsettia. Now, the holly, the Romans and the Greeks, they introduced that one. Romans were big on to goodwill gifts and holly wreaths they would give to friends, family, especially at newlyweds. They give you a wreath of holly. It's a fresh spring foliage. It's got tenacity. It's known as good luck, and it never dies. It's an evergreen. It holds that great foliage right through. And that's why the Romans really took what the Greeks started. And of course, they Romanized it, made it bigger. Mistletoe, kissing under the mistletoe. I mean, that's a holiday tradition. But the Norse are the ones that introduced that one. The mythology of there was a goddess who used the plant to bring back the memory of her beloved son, who was slain by a weapon crafted by a yew branch. And so who wants to celebrate that? So they evolved eventually over into rebirth and regrowth. And so they started to say that's what it's really all about. So a sprig hanging over a baby's bed wards off evil spirits. A young girl who puts one under her pillow, a little sprig under her pillow, inspired to dream about her future husband. Go figure. And then kissing under the mistletoe, that's future happiness, fertility, and quite honestly, who doesn't want more happiness? Let's face it. So that's where mistletoe came from. Yew, that's probably one of the oldest. So it's noted as one of the oldest trees on earth. Now there might be bristlecones. There's a juniper up in California, redwoods. There's a lot of old lived plants, but a yew you can actually wrap your hands around. It's reasonable size. So it's one of the oldest. So the Druids introduced that tradition as everlasting life. They honor it as a sacred plant because of how long it lives. Of course, Europeans, their history, they love it in churchyards because of long life. And once it's there for many generations. Ivy, on the other hand, it was used as a Christmas plant to ward off evil spirits and bad luck. So it's evergreen, it's It's got growth all the time. They put it in wreaths quite often with other conifer sprigs because it stays green right through winter. It shows its holiday spirit. And so holly really represents masculinity, and ivy represents femininity. Did I put enough syllables in there? So they've got their representations. And then two others, Christmas trees. Christmas trees, that's probably one of the newer introductions. And so it hasn't always been around. So it's fairly new. So in Germany, the 16th century, German theologian Martin Luther, he actually was heading home from church one night. He was noticing the stars coming through the branches of the evergreens and went, wow, that's very bucolic, very beautiful. I just love the evergreen branches. So when his optimism, of course, he goes, I'm going to cut down a tree in the backyard, bring it in, put some candles on it. It'll remind me of that moment that I was walking home with the stars coming through, that optimism I felt when I was heading home with that. And so it just spread from there and took off. And then in the 20th century, America just, of course, supersized. Add 40 cents, supersized it, boom, there we go. It's all over the world now. So Christmas trees, now they're all plastic. There are all kinds of things going on. So I don't know how many homes were burned down by candles on a cut tree. I'm sure there were some. Christmas cactus. This is from South America. I believe it was Brazilian. It's a legend down there, which is where they grow. So Christmas cactus are a tropical plant from South America. A poor boy was living in the jungle, was praying for a sign of Christmas. Please, don't leave me out. Let me have a sign of Christmas. And come Christmas, he didn't hear anything. Christmas Day comes, and the cactus starts shooting off these unbelievable flowers off the cactus branches, like Christmas cactus is famous for. And that was his answer to prayer out in the jungles of Brazil. That's a great story. And so they've actually got several Christmas cactus. We've got quite a few colors right now. There's Christmas cactus, there's Thanksgiving cactus, and there's Easter cactus. They're all related. Basically, we time them to bloom at the right holidays, change the colors a little bit, but basically they're all the same plant. So that's the history of Christmas plants. And if you want details, the latest garden article, that's what I went deep on. I did a lot of research. I know a lot of this plant history anyway, but it's interesting. Every plant has a backstory. And sometimes we just need to step back and look for it. In fact, I'll try it this next year. I'll try to do more background history. I just know so much history and how plants came to be, who introduced them. A lot of the inventors are still alive. They're getting older, but they're still here with us. And they get up on stage and share stories. It is a hoot to hear them, how they created this new glow-in-the-dark petunia. I mean, I've talked to the guy. I've said, it's an amazing story how they did this. Genetics. It's not natural. It's man-made. And I've been in a dark room where hundreds of them were in the room. It's a white petunia that literally blooms in the dark. I'm going to try to grab a few hundred of them for next spring. I probably can only have them come online. We'll see how I'm trying to secure those now. But we'll try to have these new varieties. And I'll try to share more history of how these plants were created, who named them, how they've come to be, and how they've modified over the years. Fascinating. Plants are just fascinating. It's what I love coming to work every day, doing a radio show, an hour-long program every week, even in the winter. I still love it. I just love coming to work and sharing the energy of gardening. It's exciting. Water's garden companion plants for November are flowering pear, English ivy, camellias, and Vanderwolf pine.
Vanderwolf is related to Arizona pines with fluffy foliage.
It's remarkably resilient in dry Arizona soils.
Makes a graceful specimen in yards or expansive estate landscapes.
This distinctive pine, long, twisted, silver blue needles covering the dense branches.
Carefree and easy to grow.
Shop by store or online at watersgardencenter.com. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit watersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Waters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.